All right, welcome guys to another video, and today we'll be working January 2017 question, which is question 7, which deals with statistics. So here goes. So the question says the table below shows the number of bananas to the nearest ton produced annually on a farm over a period of 6 years. So they gave us 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. So it says draw a bar chart to represent the data given in the table above using a scale. So we have our key, we will write it on our graph paper. So using a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 1 year on the x-axis and 1 centimeter to represent 25 tons on the y-axis. So we have that in our key. We have labeled our axes accordingly. So we have the year on the x-axis and the bananas on the y-axis, which is represented in tons, which is the production here as shown in our table. So what we know with bar chart, unlike with histograms, so you'll see histograms question that we've worked before where the bars are joined. When we're looking at a bar chart or a column chart, the bars are separated, so there is space between each bar. So if we should start with the first column, which is 2010, the year, with a production of 150, and this production will tells us the height of the bar. So we have, so let's go and construct our first bar. So I'm going to put that here. So we're using in our 2010 column, and with a height of production up to 150. So that is our first bar. Then we go to our second year, which is 2011 to 275. So we're coming over now to 2011, and the height of that is 275. So this should have been went up. So this is 225. So this is 250. So this is 275. Right, so we put the additional labelings on our y-axis. So this is where we go to 275. Now we are at 2012, and 2012 as a height or production level of 100. So we're coming over to 2012, and the height production level is 100. So if you should look back at our histogram graphs that we've done before, you'll see that the bars are usually joined, but with bar charts, there is a space. So if it is 1 centimeter, well, in this case, 1 centimeter to 1 year, it means that after every 1 centimeter, we will have a space in between our bars. So we are now on to 2013 to a height of 40. So we go to 2013, and this is 50, so 40 will be somewhere around here. And if you realize, guys, so we move up, so it says every 1 centimeter to 1 year. So every 1 centimeter we have a year. So we have 2013, then 2011, then 2012, then 2013, 2014, 2015. On our y-axis was 1 centimeter to 25 tons. So every 1 centimeter we added 25 tons. It is 25, then 50, then 75, then 100, 125, 150, and we go on and on until we just pass the last reading. The highest reading on our table was 275. So we just went 1 centimeter up to represent that. So now 2014 is 125. So we're coming over now to 2014. So we have 2014 to 125. So that corresponds with our height. Then we have 2015 to 210. So 2015, and we go up, to a height of 210. So it will be a little over 200. And that is what our bar will look like. So we've completed our bar chart, and we got our 4 marks. Part B now says, determine the range of the number of bananas produced between 2010 to 2015. So if you remember what range is looking at the difference between the highest and the lowest. In this case, we're looking at the difference between the highest number in production and the lowest number in production. So let me just write range. So range, so this is part B. So range is equal to the highest minus the lowest. In this case, we are looking at the production level. So therefore, range would be equal to our highest production was 275 minus the lowest production, which is 40. And therefore, our range is equal to, when you do that subtraction, what you will get is 235, and our unit is tons. And that is our answer for part B. So our range is the difference between the highest and the lowest, and our highest production was 275, our lowest production was 40, and we find the difference between those two numbers and we get our range. So let's now move on to so that was part B. So part C, it says, during which year was there the greatest production of bananas? So we can either look at our table, or we can look at our bar chart. So we're going to use our table to answer this one. So it says, between which year was there the greatest production in banana? So now look at our bar chart and tell me which would be the greatest year of production of banana. I'm going to change the color for our answer. So this 2011, so 2011 is the year when there was the greatest production in banana. So that will be our answer. So during which year was there the greatest production of banana? So we'll write 2011 is the year when there was the greatest production of banana. So that is our answer. Now part 2 says, how is this information shown on the bar chart? Now, if we had used a table, if you had looked on your table and, going through and said, oh, it's 2011 because it had 275 tons being produced in 2011. Part 2 now says, how is this shown on the bar chart? So either one you could have used to answer part 1, but now they're asking you specifically, how would you have used the bar chart itself to identify that this was the year that produced the greatest amount or greatest tons of banana? How is this shown on the bar chart? All you need to say is, say this was shown with the greatest production having the highest bar or the highest height, any one that you choose. So the year with the greatest production is shown by the highest bar on the chart. So this was shown with the greatest production having, this is HAVING, having the highest bar. So that is how we know. So this is shown on the bar chart with the highest bar. That's all you need to write and you will get your full marks. Part D1 now says, between which 2 consecutive years was there the greatest change in the production of bananas? So what I'm going to do, so let's get back. So the question, let's have this. So just to look at this, so part D1 says, part D1, so which 2 consecutive years was there the greatest change in the production of bananas? Now what I want you to realize, it did not say the greatest increase or the greatest decrease in the production of bananas. It spoke to the greatest change in the production of bananas. So whether that greatest change came from an increase in production or a decrease in production. So let's say then we have to look at all our calculations. So from 2010 to 2011, let's look at what that production was. So it would have been 150 minus 275, because in 2010, 150 tons was produced and there was an increase to 275 tons. So with there being an increase, it means that there was a positive amount of production taking place. So we'll have 275 minus 150, and that will give us a positive 125. So there was an increase. So in 2010 to 2011, there was an increase in the production of bananas. So remember, we're just looking for the greatest change. It doesn't matter if that change is an increase or a decrease. So now we're looking from 2011 to 2012. Now this took a different turn. So what we saw, so let's just put change here. So to represent this column, so we're looking at change in that column. So this is our change, so whether it be a positive or a negative. So in 2012, now they're produced 100 tons, but coming from the year before, there was a production of 275. So now we have a minus 175. So there was a decrease in the production of bananas. Now it doesn't matter if there was an increase or decrease. All we're looking for is the greatest change. Now we're moving from 2012 to 2013. What we had was 40. So now we're moving from 100 tons to 40 tons. So it is 40 minus 100. So there was a decrease from 2012 to 2013 of 60 tons. Now moving from 2013 to 2014, what we have is 125 minus 40. So now there was an increase by 85 tons between those 2 years. So let's move that. So there was an increase from 2013 to 2014. So there was an increase of 85 tons. And now we're moving from 2014 to 2015. and we went to 210 tons. This is 210 minus 125, and there was an increase of 85 tons again. So now remember, what we're looking for is the greatest change in production. It didn't say the greatest increase or the greatest decrease. And that is the mistake that students usually make. So they'll be like, oh, it is from 2010 to 2011 because that is a positive number and there was an increase of 125. The question didn't ask if there was an increase or a decrease. All it said was the greatest change in the production. So our answer will be the greatest change in production will be between 2011 and 2012, where there was a decrease by 175 tons. So the greatest change in production occurred between the years. So let's insert and put our answer. So the greatest change in production was between 2011 and 2012, where there was a decrease of 175 tons. And that is all that we're putting for our answer there. So it's just 2011 and 2012. Part 2 now says, how is this information shown in the graph? So we can say this information, so going back now to our graph, so we said it was between 2011 and 2012. So now let's also change the color for that graph. So 2011 and 2012. So we're looking at these two graphs. So now if you look at the change in production between any of these graphs, so you have their graph and you could say, okay, from 2010 to 2011, so there's a change of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters here. From 2011 to 2012, there's a change in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 from 2011 to 2012, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, like 2¼ here, and 1, 2, 3, 3¼ 1, 2, 3, 3¼ So what you can see is that the difference in the height of the bars, that is where how this information was shown on the bar chart. So this is shown between the difference between the respective heights of any two bars, of any two consecutive bars. So this is shown in the difference between two consecutive bars. So if we look at it, comparing 2010 to 2011, or if you compare 2011 to 2012 and then compare 2012 to 2013, so the difference between any two consecutive bars, this is how it was shown. So all we can say for this, for part 2, so you can say the difference between the respective heights of any two bars. And that is our answer. So moving on now from part 2, now looking at part E, it says, give one reason why the bar chart is unsuitable for predicting the number of bananas produced in 2016. So give one reason why the bar chart is unsuitable for predicting the number of bananas produced in 2016. Now looking at the height of our bars from year to year, do we observe any pattern? Is there any pattern? So from year to year, can we say 2010 to 2011, there was an increase of let's say 3 centimeters or 25 tons, and then it decreased by 25, then it went up by 25? No. So because there is no pattern, then we cannot predict what the upcoming year will be. We can't definitely say it will be 275 tons, or it will be 150 tons, or it will be 75 tons. So because we cannot predict what it will be, because there's no pattern. So because there's no pattern, it means that we cannot predict the amount, the tons that will produce in 2016. And that is all that you are writing. So all we need to say is there is no pattern, hence we cannot predict what the upcoming production level will be. And that is, oh, there's a typo right there. So this should be production. Excuse my typo. So that will be production. So thank you for joining us. And this is the end of January 2017 question, which comes under section 5 of the syllabus, which is statistics. So we'll see you another time.